Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust video. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the recruitable Dominus Octos, those that you can recruit with the ancient coins. I'll just cover 4 of them, which is Seto, Beliath, Mamonir and Velfern. So if I cover all 8 of them, the video will be like 2 hours long. You wouldn't want that, so maybe I'll do that in the future. The other 4, which is Lucius, Lavia, Vals and Asmod. I'm here to help you basically decide on what to spend your ancient coins on. So Lucius, Lavia, Vals and Asmod, it doesn't depend on any amount of ancient coins you have, it depends on the luck you have. So I can't really recommend pulling for them because it depends on how lucky you are. But if you have either of them, Lucius, Lavia, Vals, Asmod, they are all pretty strong. So we're gonna focus on the one that you can actually spend your ancient coins on and recruit them. Alright, so first I'll be covering Seto. Alright, let's have a look at this guy and understand his skills a little bit so you guys know why I will compare him to one of the 6 Devil members. So this particular skill right here deals fixed additional damage to the enemy. Alright, so this is a Raging Strike, it's called, and it's similar to Alex's skill from 6 Devils. So should you compare Seto to Alex? Yes, most of the time they are pretty similar. At +0, Alex is better by far. There's no comparison there. Alex is the one to go for if you don't want to look for investment. But obviously, Alex's skills doesn't seem to scale up as good as Seto's, especially when you get this skill right here. This is a skill that you can actually benefit from, whereas Alex one, the Atrocious Wrath, if I'm not mistaken, requires him to be below certain HP, so that one is kind of hard and situational, whereas this one you can definitely benefit from. It's a permanent skill. You will be able to get this buff from the beginning of the battle, so depending on how much edge you have, you will have the bonus attack. So this particular skill right here is a reflective counter. So something to keep in mind: whenever you get hit, the opponent will get a fixed additional burn damage on them. So I'm not sure if this is a very good skill. I've fought a couple of Setos before, and +0, +1, +2, +3, the burn damage does almost nothing at all. Like it's so little. But once you increase this skill further and further, at +4 and +5 onwards, you get to attack times 100% additional damage. So that's when you start to see the burn damage getting really OP. So if you're going for Seto, do keep in mind that he's a heavy investment unit, so be ready to pour a bunch of skill books into him. Is he unusable at +0? No, he's definitely usable, but he's more like a PvP unit for now. I don't see him being good in any other game modes. World Boss, you definitely don't need him. Evil Castle, maybe 1 or 2 stages you could take advantage of him, but other than that, it's not worth going for if you are not into PvP, into arena specifically. So he's a very arena centric unit. Do keep in mind that his skill is a skip as opposed to Alex one. Alex does have the additional +1 range, hit 2 tiles. So I don't know, like, I wouldn't recommend going for him. If you really want a strong warrior right now, Alex is a much better one because +0, you can use him at +0. He's very strong at +0. Even one of the top tier arena teams in my server right now, I see a bunch of Alex at +0, which is just insane. But Seto at +8, +9, you don't see much of those. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question regarding Seto. Moving on to Beliath. Alright, Beliath is a unique one. If you watch my recent Zakan costume video, in that video there's one PvP fight where I fought a Beliath at +0. At +0, her skeletons deal no damage at all. So basically she has this skill right here, not this one, I think this one, which bestows a skeleton resurrection to the ally. So if the ally dies, they will resurrect as a skeleton. So it's essentially mini Zakans. Alright, if you're familiar with Zakan, when Zakan dies, he self-destruct, deals fixed damage to the opponent. Same goes right here. So any allies that has this buff will ideally turn into skeleton, and if they get hit, they will deal fixed damage to the opponent as well upon the explosion. It's written right here. Enemies attack times 100% additional damage. It's a fixed additional damage, so it relies on the enemy's attack. So how strong is Beliath? She's not that strong at +0. If you want to get her, do keep in mind that she needs at least +3 to be really good in arena. So yeah, 5%. This one does give some crit rate and crit damage, which is pretty cool. It's a skill that's definitely usable, but if you really want the best out from this skill, you need to at least +5 her to get the bonus crit damage and crit rate. The attack boost, it's okay. It's not like the highest or the lowest. And then of course she receives healing from the opponents and has permanent debuff. So is Beliath still strong? Yes, she is. She is actually one of the strongest supporter that you can obtain right now. Her role is quite different from other supporters. She's not there to support them, but rather give them the buff. In case they die, it turns them into skeletons. Some teams work extremely good with Beliath, especially those squishy mercenaries that you have, like Zakan, Chalkel. Imagine you buffing them, and when they die, they turn into another skeleton. So that way you get like 2 chances of blowing up the opponent. But even at +3 right now, as the current meta is looking right now, she is struggling a little bit because of Velfern. Velfern has the ability to basically blow up all the skeletons, and because of his energy gut mechanic, he's still able to survive. So the existence of Velfern and Mamonir, and they are right now like pretty much dominating the arena right now, which is why you will start seeing less and less Beliath, as those two other Dominus Octos are like the perfect counter to her. So should you go for Beliath? I wouldn't recommend going for her as a beginner. Like if you are like getting your first Dominus Octo, she's not the best option right here. She's strong if you already have like strong units surrounding your arena team and you just need a supporter to fit another role. She can be really handy right there. But if you're just starting out and you're recruiting her as your first legend, I don't think that's a good idea. You might want to hold off on that for a bit. Alright, so moving on, we have Mamonir. Alright, so she's quite often seen in the arena right now due to her energy gut mechanics. So this is quite different. Basically, she has this layer of barrier above her HP, which regens every single turn. So this energy gut thing will be higher depending on the amount of HP she has. So ideally, you will want to give her 2 vital runes, or 1 vital and 1 assault, depending on what kind of route you want to go for. She has this skill which counter attacks with nullifier to enemies' normal attack. So basically, if the opponent attacks her, all the buffs on the opponent will get removed. So that is very good in the current meta right now, because especially if you go high up in the arenas. So she is one of the reasons why I wouldn't recommend Beliath right now. So Beliath gives the buff to the warriors that you have to basically turn them into skeletons. But whenever those warriors hit Mamonir, those buffs will get removed and they won't turn into skeletons anymore unless Beliath sort of rebuffs them the next round, which is why the existence of Mamonir sort of make things a little bit hard for Beliath. So she's good to counter teams that try to use 2 supporters, 3 supporters, stack up as much buffs as they can. She immediately removes them whenever she gets hit. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Only when she gets hit. So after she gets hit, she might or might not be able to survive depending on how strong she is, whether you go for 2 vital runes or 1 vital and 1 assault. She does have this skill, which is very interesting. It boosts her attack a little bit and reduces incoming damage reduction that the opponent has. It's quite different from fixed damage, so basically I do think that if the opponent has 100% defense, this will not do anything to them. But it's basically to negate those damage reduction barriers that they have. So it's cool to fight against like Seer, Aaron, those annoying defenders that has one skill as the barrier. Alright, immune to debuff, so very cool. She won't get charm, stun, counter and those irrelevant things. There's no stats reduction, you won't be able to curse her as well. So Mamonir is a very solid choice, but I do think that she needs a little bit of investment. I fought a couple of Mamonirs before and they deal almost no damage to my team, which is such a bummer. So definitely if you want her to deal at least a decent chunk of damage, you want to go with at least a +4 right here. +4, +5, you get that attack times 250% additional damage. But as it is right now, if you are using her at +0, she's still usable for sure. I do think that she's one of the more versatile Dominus Octos out there because she's usable in lots of the other game modes besides Arena. You can use her in a couple of stages in the Evil Castle. You can use her in the campaign mode for sure, she's quite strong there. World Boss, she's usable as well. She's more versatile and flexible compared to all the other Dominus Octos. In fact, comparing to all the 4 that we are discussing today, she might be the most versatile one. So if you are new to the game and you're looking to have like an Octo that can just help you out in all the game modes in the game, I think she's a pretty solid choice right now. Okay, so the last one we have is Velfern. So Velfern is a slightly complex one. I'm not sure if I want to recommend it to beginners, but at the same time he's so strong, but yet he's so bad. Alright, let me clarify. Velfern is probably one of the strongest of all the 4 choices right here. The strongest Dominus Octo that you can go for if you're looking to focus in the arena, PvP specifically. The problem is, he's so bad in World Boss, he's like barely usable in campaign. Trust me, I have an eye, and I can perform much better than him because he relies on the number of graves to deal high amount of damage. And in the Evil Castle, if you want to achieve like all 3 stars, usually there's one requirement where you can only have like 3 mercenaries dead or something. If you have more than that, you only get 2 stars. And of course with Velfern, you can't use him there for sure because for you to benefit from this skill specifically, he needs to have lots of graves on the battlefield for you to get the high amount of attack. So he is 100% a pure arena centric, PvP centric unit. If you love PvP a lot, if you play the PvP arena every single day, you might want to consider recruiting him. But if you are looking to like invest in a unit that's good everywhere else, in everything, he's not really the one to go for, which is why it's a little bit of a struggle to recommend him to beginners. If you're just starting out and yeah, let's choose Velfern as your first Dominus Octo. Yeah, sure, you might climb in PvP, but then you might struggle everywhere else. And I'm not sure if that's a good idea because comparing him to Angelica, Angelica is, like I've mentioned before, jack of all trades, master of none. She's good everywhere. World Boss, I still use her. I use her in the Evil Castle. She helps me out in the campaign a lot. Even the Season 2, she helps me out here a lot. And I'm not sure Velfern can provide that same investment of return. He's very good in PvP though. I'm not going to take out the credit that because he's so bad everywhere else doesn't mean he's useless. He's so good that he counters Lilian, and people are struggling to place their Lilian because of this skill right here. Lilian has extremely low HP. With just 1 or 2 graves, he's able to one-hit KO a Lilian. Because it deals fixed damage, it goes through the 100% that Lilian has. Arkan might be able to survive because Arkan has way higher HP than Lilian. But yeah, he counters lots of formations. He counters the Grand deck, probably one of the strongest deck in the game right now. I still have mine at +0, so he's not that strong yet, but I do think he will get stronger at +4 to 5 onwards when you increase this particular skill right here. At +4, 25%, +5 is 30%. So then you will unlock the true potential, but as of now, he's just more of a semi-tank who can also dish out an amount of decently fixed additional damage. So here's the thing, if you are new to the game and you only have Seer, I wouldn't recommend you to go for this guy unless you already have like a bunch of core characters that you have to be able to tackle PvE and you're struggling in PvP, you want to focus on Arena more, then Velfern is a good choice. Otherwise, if you struggle in a lot of the other game modes, Mamonir might be better for you. Okay, so that pretty much covers it for the Dominus Octo which you can recruit using ancient coins. I would say Velfern or Mamonir will depend on how new you are to the game and which area do you plan to focus on. So Beliath and Seto, I wouldn't recommend going for them now unless you have a strong team already and you want to add on to that team to give them. So Beliath and Seto, I wouldn't recommend going for them if you are new, unless you have like a strong solid arena team already and you want to add on to that team to hopefully help you climb, sure, go for them. But do keep in mind they need more investment compared to Mamonir and Velfern. Mamonir and Velfern, they are actually very solid at +0, but obviously if you have the skill books, both of them really shines at +5 onwards. Do keep that in mind if you do invest in them. They are usable, they are very strong at +0, but they do get stronger progressively as the skill level goes up. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your thoughts as well. As always, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.